Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Abrazo Football Podcast. Brooks, Blaine, as per usual. I'm Blaine. He's Brooks. I always say Brooks Blaine, but that's only because it's Brooks. All right, what can I say? We got our mate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if you haven't tried it yet, get on abrazomate.com. Brooks, what are you drinking today?
Classical.
El Clasico. I can't lie, I have not had any today, and
Okay.
I
It's
was
early
too.
for you.
It's early, yeah. We're filming early, and you can probably see it in my eyes. So without any further ado, Brooks, let's get into it. Breaking news last week: Brentford Bees striker slash captain slash England debut this season, Ivan Toney, finally got suspended from play. 8 months? 8 months.
8 months.
8 months worldwide ban from the FA, which I don't even know how they can do that. But, they said he can't play in Spain. He can't play in Sweden. He can't play in America. Put Pierre on the camera. He wants to be on the camera.
You see him?
I see him. Put him on the screen. Pierre, how do you feel about Ivan Toney being removed from football for the foreseeable until January 2024? How does that make
Pierre's
you feel?
upset.
He's
Pierre's
pissed
upset.
off. I'm pissed off.
That was
Actually,
a big. What are you saying?
well, I was gonna say I'm only pissed off because it's worldwide. Like, okay,
Worldwide.
fine. Don't like when Karen Trippier did it in
Exactly.
Spain. He couldn't play in Spain, but they didn't say he couldn't play anywhere else. He just held it down. But I'm like, if he wants to go play like for Olympiacos for 6 months, why can't he? Like, he didn't break rules there. That's like, oh, I got a speeding ticket in New York and I can't drive in Australia. I don't know. What are your thoughts though? Like,
I'm with
should he
you.
have
I
been
think
banned? Well, first off, is an 8 month ban? Let's just assume it was just in England. Is 8 months? Is that too much? Is that too little? Does it send the right message? What do you think about just that ban in itself?
I think that's extremely harsh. I mean, they were like so if I have this correct, they were basically he was there were like 238 counts and he said yes, or he pled guilty to 232 or something, and so they were like, okay, fine, 232, or I don't know the number, it's something in the 200s. But
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Is it like, is every single one of those counts like a game that he bet on? Like what how serious is what he did? That's what I don't understand yet. Like, do you understand like what every single count was, or
I
what,
could,
like the
dude.
seriousness of it all?
I couldn't even be bothered to look into it. I'm not even gonna lie to the people. All I know, like, my guess, and yeah, I hear you, people. It's my guess. Maybe I should pick up a book and read something. All I know is it wasn't,
232 breaches
but
and
it
a fine
wasn't.
of 50 grand.
But it wasn't match fixing. It's like when Michael Jordan was gambling and he was in the
Yeah.
league. It's like when but like it's not but like he wasn't like throwing games to win bets. He was just betting as a player, which sure, yeah, I get it. That's against the rules. You broke a rule, but it's like, unless you're like match fixing or like giving people like information, like, oh yeah, like, is this person going to get traded to this team, and if
Yeah.
that person's going to get traded. But let's be honest, like, being at Brentford, no one's making bets about who's going to get transferred in and out of Brentford. Like, this isn't like, oh, is Jude Bellingham going to Man City or Real Madrid? That's a bet you could get down at the sports book. Not is, Adadaimi going to go from Brentford to Swansea. Like, no one's
Yeah.
putting money,
Yeah,
because
so for those reasons, yeah, I think it's harsh. I think that even if it was like a betting, every single, like, he didn't throw anything. This dude's been like every single
balling out.
season he's been scoring. So yeah, it's not like he's been like, oh, I'm gonna bet that we're gonna lose this game, so let me throw this game or whatever. Like, he's been playing out of his mind. He's been called up for the England team. He's been playing really well. So the last thing I heard was that it was that the FA was going to make it a worldwide ban. Is it officially a worldwide ban now?
Well, I don't know if it's official, but yeah, that's their
Okay.
intentions. Because
Yeah.
I was like, when I heard that he got the ban, I was like,
And
all right,
that's too
dude,
far.
that I feel like that's where it goes too far. I'm like, okay, you can't play in England, but okay, so if Brentford keeps him, or maybe Brentford sells him, let's just say Chelsea, they sell him to Chelsea. Okay, we'll loan you out to one of our, one of the many clubs that we do business with, and you just go keep your fitness, and you come back in January like a stallion. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it's against the FA's best interest. Like, Ivan Toney could be valuable for England. Like, Gareth Southgate's not going to not pick him. Like,
Yeah.
Gareth
They need,
Southgate.
yeah.
Gareth Southgate has shown everybody that he sticks with his players. Like,
Yeah.
once you're on Gareth Southgate's list, you can beat up a bodyguard in Greece. You can dogfight. You can get caught in gambling in Spain, and he's like, you know what, Maguire, I like you. I need you. Kieran Trippier, I'm gonna even let you wear the captain's armband. I don't care what happened in Spain. We're in England now. So I just feel like England, yeah, don't like, I get it. You don't want people, gambling, and that's fair and good, but like,
But hold on. Why don't you want people gambling if you're okay with making money off of the sponsorships that the gambling are giving you? Thank you. So that's why I think it's the worst thing that you can do. Like, what are you trying to say? So kids go and gamble, but players don't gamble.
yeah.
That's
Well,
the wrong message.
yeah, and to be fair, I think, isn't it like next season or the season after, there will be no more sports bets sponsors allowed as the primary shirt sponsor.
Good. That's good.
Yeah,
But then Fame then
do
don't
it
give
then.
him this crazy punishment. I
Yeah.
mean, it just doesn't make sense. There's no reason that they should allow sports betting on shirts and on billboards and on the digital displays and all that. But you're going to fine and ban this guy for doing just that. First of
Yeah.
all, and second of all, don't make it worldwide, because also you're hurting Brentford. What's Brentford going to do? He's
Yeah.
been, like we said, he's been playing out of his mind for Brentford. Brentford's really amazing, top 10 right now.
Yeah.
Somewhat recently promoted team. You're just hurting Brentford, so that's really a bad look all around, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can't sell him. You can't sell him for money because it's a worldwide ban.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree that. I mean, FA, get it together, make your mind up. Like, either, like, unless like we're missing something and he was like giving people like insider information, but if he was just like, yo, I'm gonna put money down on the Spurs game because I know they're gonna choke, or if he's just like, I'm gonna put money on the Brentford game because I know we about to go win, I'm gonna put 100,000 that I'm gonna get a brace tonight because I know I can take it to West Ham because
Yeah.
I've been beating all these London clubs all season. Like, I don't see the problem with that. I'm going to put money on Brentford winning something because I feel like we can win. Like, what's wrong? I don't see the problem. But, anyway.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway.
either. I think it's harsh. I think
Free
I think
Ivan
that they need to
Toney.
take a look in the mirror. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
free Ivan Toney, bro. Because like, yeah, it's like these bet sponsors, these guys, they run the league. Like, and like if you're saying it's so deplorable that you don't want people doing it or players doing it, it's like, then like these guys are like, they're propping up, basically sports books prop up European soccer, football, whatever, top to bottom. Even though UEFA tries to like limit their visibility, like the reality of the situation is like across all the leagues, the sponsorship is heavy. But
Yeah.
anyway, speaking of sponsors, Chelsea's out of their sponsorship deal at the end of the season, so they'll finally get that nasty 3 off their shirt. Thank God.
Ooh, that's
Anyway.
amazing. That's probably the best news I've heard in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Or
that's
in relating to Chelsea.
for Chelsea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man, let's move it on. Let's move the conversation on. We were talking about this, or we weren't talking about this, but this past week, the Premier League announced the nominees for the POTS, or Player of the Season. And I felt it would only be right. This is a little bit of a, time delicate matter before, the result is revealed. But, the nominees are KDB, Erling Haaland, or are they calling him Phantom 9? I think Nike's calling him Phantom 9. Is that what I see the hashtag? Okay. Harry Kane, Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, disgraced football bettor Kieran Trippier, And then Sir Marcus Rashford. You know what I mean? These are all
Yeah.
these are all great players. These are all great players. You want to go and tell me, well, first off, do you think that they missed anybody? Did we miss anybody as far as the nominations go, or do you feel good about
I
this list?
I think that as usually happens, there could be a couple more, I don't know, defensive players in there, maybe in the young player one, but I guess no, I don't think that they missed anyone. I would have liked to, I don't know, I thought that, for example, maybe this could go in the young player one, but like William Saliba had an incredible first ever season in the Premier League.
Yep.
And I know we're talking about like senior level or in general player of the season, but no, I think they got it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Do you agree?
Oh, I like just to be like contrary, and I'm trying to think if there was somebody on there because, like, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of teams that over succeeded, but I'm not talking properly. Let's just say no. I can't think of.
Played above their class or whatever, played above their
Yeah,
weight.
exactly. But yeah, just because someone went above and beyond what was expected of them doesn't mean that they necessarily performed better than the stars of the Premier League. So I mean, yeah, I mean, just to be contrarian, I would say a defensive player for me that I think did great this season is the number 5 from Manchester City, John Stones. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. And he kept getting better with each week the season was going
yeah,
on.
and he even sometimes they had even moved him into a midfield position. So
Crazy.
I feel like I mean all like I'm not saying he was good enough to like replace any of these people because like I mean the Arsenal boys like what they did like hats off,
Yeah.
congratulations. Karen Trippier, I mean he's a short baller. I like Karen Trippier. Marcus Rashford, I mean, up until like towards the end of the season where he got injured, he held it down for Man U.
Yeah, but I feel like if we're going like contrarian, I would say he shouldn't be considered.
He was in form though, man. Maybe I don't know. I feel like Marcus Rashford was in devastating form this season.
Yeah,
And
but for a what? For like what was it? 3 months, like right before and right after the World Cup. We haven't said his name since then.
yeah,
I
he
have
got
a
injured.
video,
He
a
got injured.
short, but yeah, so I'm saying like you can't, how are you gonna
Bro, he's
be a player of the season when you're injured
because
3 months?
it's Marcus Rashford, man. They love Marcus Rashford.
They do. Yeah,
They
I know. But
love
anyway,
Marcus
yeah.
Rashford.
Yeah, they do. Nothing wrong with that too. He's a great guy. But I was just
What
saying if we
about
are
Harry
being a
Kane though?
bit
What about
contrary,
Harry Kane? What about Harry
only
Kane?
because he plays for the Spurs and scored that many goals. I think that's probably reason enough. Like if Holland wasn't here, he would far and away be the. We'd be talking about him scoring all these goals. So yeah, I think that he deserves to be up there.
He
Unfortunately,
does.
I'm
No,
not.
no, no, no. Harry Kane's a dog. He deserves to be up there. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and
I'm not a
then
fan, but yeah, I feel like yeah, he definitely needs that credit this season. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know that there's anyone else that I think has like was kind of slighted because yeah, John Stones obviously had an amazing season, but like for a couple years he was on his way out of Man City, and now he's kind of revived himself in this like center back slash midfield role where he is amazing, and then you saw Arteta trying to pull it off um, against Nottingham Forest with Thomas Partey, and it was shambles. It looked
yeah,
horrible. But so
that was
so
sad.
that's yeah. John Stones had a really good year too, but I think that you just can't argue that Erling Haaland has to be the player of the season, in my
Oh,
opinion.
by a landslide. It's not even. It's
Yeah,
like these are the nominees, and then Erling Haaland. Like if he doesn't win Player of the Season, European Player of the Season, PAF or PFA Player of the Season, Premier League Season Players Player of the Season, Manchester City Player of the Season, that would be a robbery. Like, come
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's no discussion. There's not like there and he's on the verge of a treble. Like
Yeah, in
what
his
stands
first
in his
season
way.
ever
Yeah,
in
like
England.
Man U and Inter Milan are what stand in the way of him getting a treble in his first season in England. They're gonna win the treble.
Yeah,
I mean, I want Inter Milan to win desperately. I desperately want Inter Milan to win the Champions League. I think that would be one of the greatest stories ever, but they're not. I mean, you saw what they did to Madrid. They're not going to win the Champions League. City's winning the treble, and yeah, he's the player of the season for sure. That's, yeah, like, shout out. And I like Erling Haaland. I
yeah, I do
actually
too.
really like Erling Haaland, so I'm
Yeah, I do
happy,
too.
genuinely happy. You know, it's like, I feel like sometimes it's easy to like hate on like a player that comes in and like does it big, but we got to remember like there's tons of players who have been like not the same. Let's not be disingenuous, but like there's been players that have been like touted to be able to come into like big teams where there's like a machine behind them that would get them to score goals. I think like I remember the last time City brought in a big striker, it was what was his name? Wilfried Bony, the Ivorian. Real Madrid brought in Luka Jovic from Eintracht Frankfurt. Like I just feel like there's
That was
players that
sad.
yeah, but he did so good in Frankfurt. It was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
has to. So it's like it seems easy because Erling Haaland makes it look easy, but it's not always that easy to like deal with the pressure and perform and he's yeah. So like
yeah.
yeah
That's a good point.
it's like for example, we like I feel like we often talk about like Bayern Munich and like Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting, and it's like yeah, like who can't score goals in the Bundesliga for Bayern Munich, and that
Bayern,
might
yeah,
that might be true, but this is the
yeah,
Premier League. It's not the
yeah.
same, and he did it because he's not the same. So yeah, shout out. I don't know if it's Phantom Nine. Maybe I'm not remembering the hashtag, but shout out to the Norwegian.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely in my book, player of the year. And you're right, you can't. It's just like there are players where, for me, it's Harry Kane, and I'm like, screw this guy. But when you see Erling Haaland play, and even when he scores against your teams, I'm just like, you can't. He's such a likable person. I feel like he just comes across super likable. Um,
Yeah,
Not like ignorant, but definitely confident, knows that he's out here to do a job, does that job really well, scores
yeah.
goals, sets up goal. I mean, the crazy thing is, obviously, I don't think that there's going to be another season where he scores. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens in the next
Yeah,
couple games. 40
remains
plus
to be
goals,
seen.
but yeah, but he does have like there's still place to improve his game. You know, his movement off the ball, his runs that he makes, his timing. But it's just this is his first season ever in the top flight of England, and it's crazy, man. It's
Yeah,
crazy. I hope that they win it too, just because I want this talk of the city. I just want them to win it and get it over with. It's like that. Just stop all of the games. Like let's just get you to win it, so we can stop talking about it, stop hoping about it, stop wondering if or when it's going to happen. Just get it over with and win it already.
nah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm. If it was AC Milan in the
Sure.
final, sure. It's a team that I'm a genuine fan of. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
say, but like if they do win, I mean, obviously they deserve it, and I'll be happy to see, a lot of those guys, Kevin De Bruyne are also Ilkay Gundogan, like a lot, like there's
Yeah.
so many guys on City that I'm like, I
Julian
respect
Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez, who, I mean, and I feel like also just like shout out Julian Alvarez, like,
Seriously.
has there ever been a second fiddle? Well, yeah, there has been, but he's
What do you
in the,
mean?
well, just a guy that's equally, well, not equally, but capable of leading the line and happily comes off the bench as the
Yeah.
alternative without causing any drama or any fuss and just like does his job. And like to be fair, when Erling Haaland doesn't start and Julian does, and Julian scoring goals, or when Erling comes off and doesn't score and Julian comes on and scores a goal with his first touch, like it seems like they're genuinely happy for the other player when the other player or any other player. Like it seems like there's like a really
Yeah.
good team harmony where like there's no talk. Like I mean, what maybe I get the feeling that this season Kevin De Bruyne is a little bit
A
unhinged.
little bit, a
He's a
little bit,
little
yeah.
unhinged. My man's a little unhinged this season. But with the exception of Kevin being unhinged, I feel like the rest of the team is like very jovial. So anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like every time I see, I like actively look for a Jack Grealish interview after these games because I'm like, yo, this dude loves to talk about his team. He's very
Hmm.
happy. He loves to give credit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne is one of the guys where I'm like, I hate seeing you do well against, like stop score.
Well,
I don't know, but
did you see him tell Pep to shut up?
see, that's what I'm saying. This is not okay. Like you got to
Yeah.
have some respect, and he
Well,
doesn't. He like,
yeah. Well, yeah, he's nuts. He's an insane person. Like he's insane. Like I'll send you the clip. Like I think it was in the Madrid game. Like he was running and Pep was like, he's like, go here, and he like just stops playing, looks over at Pep, he says, shut up. And then like just keeps going. And then like obviously, Pep always plays it cool. So like he can't comes off and Pep just gives him a hug and like kisses him on the forehead, but he's probably wants to kill him.
Yeah,
It's like you
absolutely.
told him to shut up in a Champions League semifinal. Like yelled it. Stopped, yelled it and pointed at him. But then
I didn't
again,
see that. I gotta look that up. But
yeah,
yeah, that's
but
what, yeah. He's a bit like you said, unhinged. But to your point of
very
Julian Alvarez,
unhinged.
like this dude has. There's going to be a competition that he hasn't won. I mean, he's won everything. I guess it won't be the what F. What did they not win? The Carabao Cup or whatever. But
Yeah,
he's going
the
to have
League Cup.
won. I mean, I guess we could talk about it in a couple weeks. But World Cup, Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup. I
Did
mean,
he win the
what a
Copa?
great season for.
Did he win the Copa Libertadores?
With was that? I mean, that's going on. That wasn't he gone already when that
No,
happened? But
well, I don't know. He
anyway,
got credit for it. I don't know,
did he
but
really?
yeah.
Wow,
So
like
it looks
like
like he
like Alba
won.
getting credit for La Liga.
Yeah, that's crazy. 7 minutes or something. So yeah, Julian Alvarez will have won football in two continents and worldwide, all before he's 23. Oh
Yeah,
no,
I
no,
mean,
he's 23 now. Okay, while 23. Still,
yeah,
that's
and
amazing.
8 goals in his first season in the Premier League. You got 3 in the Champions League. He scored some in the World Cup. But yeah, what an amazing 2022, 2023 this kid has had.
Yeah, basically, yeah, a goal every other game, essentially coming off the bench
Coming off
most
the
of the
bench,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
New
So
system, new language, new environment, everything. Just like new
okay, no,
continent.
no,
Yeah, crazy.
no, they speak Spanish at City. I ain't gonna give you the new language. They speak in
All right, all right,
Spanish.
all
They
right.
speak in Spanish in City.
I'm gonna
John
ask John
Stone speak
Stones
in
to say tell
Spanish.
something to me.
All right, dude. Let's keep it pushing. So let's see here. Oh, real quick, let's give a shout out to AS Roma.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
just why don't you talk about why don't you walk us through some of their season for a minute and just tell us what we should be
Um,
grateful for.
so yeah, I mean, they should have stayed in the Champions League places, but they've had a bit of a capitulation in the league lately. But bless you. But with Jose Mourinho at the helm, they've made it to back-to-back European finals. So they are in Europa League finals. And hopefully they win this because they deserve to be back in Champions League. So I think they're in like seventh position in Italy or sixth right now. But anyway, Jose Mourinho's back to what is it, his fifth final in Europe, and he's never lost any of them?
Yeah, yeah.
Or is his fourth?
I think it's so. Let's see. It would have been Porto, Inter.
Five.
Okay, you got the number. Okay,
Wow.
nice.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully they win it. And then I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that if they win this and they get back in the Champions League, everybody stays because I feel if they don't win it and they don't get in Champions League, Mourinho's gone. He's been linked to. I mean, he's always linked to other teams.
That man
Obviously,
stay
Tammy
linked.
Abraham's been linked. Yeah, he
Tammy
does.
been linked.
Tammy Abraham. He hasn't had a great season, but who has had a great season is also linked. Paulo Dybala.
Where's he linked? I didn't see that.
I mean, he's linked to everywhere usually, but
Okay.
mostly England.
Okay. Bring Paul to the Premier
Mostly
League.
England, yeah. But I feel like he wants to never leave Italy.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I get it. I get it. Like, if it's, if like the alternative, like playing in England versus in Italy, or even like or Spain, like
Yes, yeah.
there's really no comparison.
Yeah,
geographically.
especially if, yeah, I mean, unless, yeah, even if you are in London, and one of my favorite cities is London, but you just can't beat the, I don't know, the food, the scenery, the weather of like these Italian or Spanish places. So, I
Yeah,
mean, he's
well,
in Rome, one of my favorite cities,
yeah,
coming from Juventus.
yeah, yeah. Which Turin's not bad either. But I mean,
Beautiful.
one of the things that so we were when we were in Barcelona and we went to Garraf to the beach, and you were like, that's like the neighborhood that like Messi and Busquets and like all the Barcelona players live in. I was like, yeah, like, I mean, I understand why you would never want
Yeah.
to leave or why you would stay and because it's like, yeah, you're living on the coast 30 minutes away from, and I don't know, I don't even know where Barcelona's practice facilities are. Maybe they're closer that way anyway, as opposed to like living in a city where there's a river, but no one's getting in that river and it's cloudy. I just feel like, yeah, like it's like, oh yeah, I could live like this year round. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not like, yeah, I mean, that maybe that's why they have to pay so much more to play in England.
Yeah. I mean, probably.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
playing at Aston Villa in Birmingham, in December?
No, I don't even want to visit Aston Villa. I
I
don't want
mean,
to be I mean, no offense. I'm just not trying to even do a holiday there. So,
well, yeah,
yeah, I don't
exactly.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, no, yeah, like, yeah, no. I mean, there's like there was a point in my life where I wanted to live in Leeds, but only
Really?
because, well, I mean, when on my mission, I was like, I want to serve in Leeds or
Oh,
Birmingham, but it was just like, I was like,
well, I guess
small.
you were born in England, though.
Yeah. And I was like, it's small enough to where it's like, I feel like London would be nuts. So I was like, they're small enough big cities to where it would be fine and it's not too hot because you're like walking around all day. So I was like, I'm not really trying to like, but that's different because like you're outside on your feet. I didn't want to be in the heat.
Yeah,
Like you don't want to walk around Barcelona for 2 years. I mean, maybe you
not
do.
in
I don't.
July
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
August.
Exactly, exactly. But okay. Anyway, shout out to Roma. What else did we have on the docket today? I feel like there was
Young
something else we were.
player. We didn't do young player
Oh yeah,
yet.
let's talk about young player. Who are the nominees?
So there's a quite a big list, which is bigger than I thought it was. So the young player of the year: Steve Boatman, Moises Caicedo, Erling Haaland, Alexander Isaac, Alexis McAllister, Gabriel Martinelli, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka.
It's always weird when there's overlap
Yeah,
between
I don't like that.
player of the year and young player of the year. But
Yeah, and I feel like it's there's someone every year who's like that. But who? Okay, so essentially, I'll ask the question to you now. Do you think that there's someone that they're missing and someone who shouldn't be on that list? And then who do you think should win it?
yeah, so I mean, I don't I'm fine with this list. I'm can't young player. That's I can't think off the top of my head. I mean, I know other young players that like have impressed me, but like they weren't they weren't nearly as consistent as any of these players were. Like Bukayo Saka, like the Arsenal guys stand out. I didn't know McAllister was young. He doesn't look young.
I know this dude looks like he's had a rough 24 years.
He, I tell you one thing, McAllister is not a young player. Okay. But yeah, like, so yeah, to be fair, Brighton, him, Casado, uh, Isak. Okay. So yeah, then we have our, Newcastle people. I would say I'm not going Alexander Isak. I'm not going Botman. Um, to be
Honestly, I
honest,
think I think Isak is out of his. I don't think he should be in that list. I'm gonna get that. I mean, they're don't at me in this, Newcastle fans, but 10 goals,
yeah,
nothing
like
for Europe, nothing for Sweden in the Euros. Like
yeah,
literally just 10 goals. I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, big signing, got some important goals, but yeah, he's not like for me. It would be between Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Gabriella Martinelli. That's I mean, and then
really,
I'm
the three Arsenal
the three
boys.
Arsenal guys. I mean, I'm not. I mean, Erling Haaland. I mean, I feel like you can't win Player of the Season and Young Player of the
Yeah,
Season.
I know.
That seems nuts. So and for that reason, I mean, and then if I whittle it down, in my thinking here is like Martin and Saka are both good enough to be player of the season. So they're by
That's
default,
a good point.
them and Holland are already a level above all these other players because these players weren't candidates for player of the season. They're just young player. So I mean, flip a coin. I mean, who had the better season? Martin Odegaard, the captain, or Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's number 7. I might defer to you to say who would be the more deserving candidate of the two. I feel like it would. I feel personally that they would probably give it to Saka because it's politics. That's he's British. They love him, but I personally, I'm just thinking. I mean, Odegaard was the captain.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what his stats were off the top of my head, but I think he got double digits in assist. But
He got double digits in goals. Did he get double digits assists too?
I thought, I mean, could
Let's
look.
look. I thought that he was like just short on assists, but you could be right. Because Saka has double digits on, I believe, on all of it. So 7 assists for the Premier League, 15 goals, 7 assists for Martin Odegaard.
7
4
goals,
yellow
15
cards.
assists.
15 goals, 7 assists.
Okay, and then let's look at Bukayo Saka.
So he
13
has
goals,
13
11
goals,
assists.
11. Yeah. It's a tough
I-
one. It's a really tough one because like
13,
Bukayo
11.
Saka hasn't been great the last maybe 3 weeks.
No
Like
one
once
has.
the Arsenal form started, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once the form started to dip, once his form started to dip, I feel like that whole team, although Martin Odegaard stayed kind of steady, I don't know. I would give it to Saka personally. I just think that, I don't know, it's tough because Odegaard had an incredible season. Let me just say this. If you're putting a center back in there, for me, it's not Steve Pop, and for me, it's another Arsenal. It's William Saliba.
Yeah.
But, he was hurt the last few weeks, a couple months, I guess, of the season. I would say, I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, he's been a rock. Yeah, I think remove the Newcastle people, put in William. And as far as I just feel like it's a really tough one between Odegaard and Saka.
It is because
They
they're
were
young
both-
and
I feel like they were equally. I feel like I personally I would want to give it to just both of them because I feel like if you take Saka out the team, they're hurt. But if you take
Yeah.
Martin Odegaard out the team, they're also hurt. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's like those two ran the offense. Without those two, I mean Gabriel Jesus helped when he was healthy. The Belgian Trossard, like Gabriella Martinelli, like everyone. I mean, they wouldn't have been where they were at if the whole front line wasn't doing their thing. But like those two are like on
yeah. To your point, Martinelli was replaced more than the other two. Trossard would come in quite often.
Mhm.
Reece Nelson, not enough. Didn't come in enough, but he came in often for Martinelli. And then I think Odegaard would have been subbed the next amount, and then Saka never. This dude never gets a rest.
yeah,
but he's 21. I mean, this kid can still.
Yeah, he
But
got legs.
I also think that McAllister and Caicedo, because one of the points I want to bring up is, people didn't even think this Arsenal team were going to make Champions League. They were slated to finish like 5th or 6th.
Mhm.
Here they are finishing just a few points behind City for champions. But the same can be said for Brighton and McAllister and Caicedo. Like, those are two huge players. Obviously, Captain McAllister is huge for Argentina. Won the World Cup. Caicedo came for like $80. Now he's gonna leave for like 100 million.
Yeah.
So you can't. I mean, none of these people you can sleep on. I'm with you though. Like you can't. You got to give Holland the Player of the Year. You can't, and then let one of these other guys get a Young Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's a flip of the coin. Maybe Saka just barely might edge Martin Odegaard out just because we favor stats in this world.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it were up to me, I would say I'm giving it to both. Like I don't like a tie. I hate a tie. I hate a draw. But I feel like I genuinely feel like they could both split it, and that would be, I feel like, fair. Like there's not like I don't think one has more than the other, and for this young player award. But
Okay.
I'm sure
Yeah, I
either
think so.
one of them. And hasn't Saka won this award before though?
I thought he won it. Didn't he win it last year? I know Phil Foden won it, I think, twice in a row. Maybe it was last year that he won it too. But the last thing I'll say is that yeah, I mean you're right about if you take either of them out, they're hurting. But I think that the creativity that Arsenal finally have found in Martin Odegaard has been what's been lacking since the last few years of Arsene Wenger's reign, when he didn't they just we haven't had a creative midfielder for a super long time. So it's when you take him out, you can tell a difference. When he's in there and he's everyone is crisp and passing well, like Odegaard is unbelievable. I'm still shocked that Madrid let him go for the amount they let him go for.
Same.
Saka, Saka. This is one of the best players. I think that also the other thing is like young. Like how I don't understand how there's a 21-year-old and a 24 or 5-year-old in that list. But
is Odegaard 24? Yeah, he is.
No.
Okay, I give it to
McAllister,
Saka
too.
Well, yeah. Okay, I give it to Saka. That settles the debate. Okay, so if we can't make a difference between captain and number 7, there's a 3-year difference in age. So he's younger. So for a young player award, we will give it to if they're both on the same level, but one has 3 years, we got to give it to the younger player. I would have not considered that, but now that you brought the age up, yeah, Odegaard is 24, which is young. That is young.
It is still young,
but compared to 21,
was Foden who won last year and the year before.
Okay, yeah, give it to Saka then. Give it to Gaio, and Odegaard can get Arsenal Player of the Season.
Yeah.
He won't get Norwegian Player of the Season, but he can get Arsenal Player of the Season.
Who gonna? Yeah, definitely won't.
He won't be getting any awards in Norway. But all right. Okay, well that settles that. Anything else we wanted to cover this week, Brooks, before we get out of here?
No, I just want to ask, like everybody's been talking about that it was bottled. Do you think Arsenal bottled it? Is it time to just say they bottled it, or is it just they played above their weight class for 30 of the 38 weeks and it finally caught up to them?
Bro, I think honestly I'm gonna say they bottled it. Because here's why. So there was the 2 games. There was the Liverpool match, and I think it was West Ham. I could be wrong, but I know it was Liverpool that they had the two goals and they let them bounce back. And then I think it was the week after. I'm not sure if it was West Ham.
It was the week after.
But it was the week after, and it was another situation where they drew against a team that they should have beat. And I feel like if they would have picked up those 6 points, they would have been in a position where they still could have dropped off. Like some of these other games that they've dropped off in, like that would have been like more acceptable if they would have won the games that they should have won. Like Nottingham Forest yesterday, they should have won. So I feel like that is an example of them bottling it. A few others are examples of them just losing games because they didn't have depth. But like yesterday and Liverpool, and let's just say West Ham or whoever it was, those 2 weeks.
It was Liverpool that they drew. Then it was West Ham the week after, and then it was Southampton that they drew to for a 3rd week in a row.
Okay,
so there was a run of 3 games in a row.
They bottled it. There's no excuse. Like with those games, well, Liverpool could be an excuse, but West Ham and Southampton. Your team, no. You should have picked up those points. And you had Liverpool in the bag, and you should have picked up those points. I mean, we know what it looks like. We've seen it. They're young. He's young, the manager, but yeah, I mean, they blew it. They blew it. It's not like, they blew it. They blew it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, to your point, they not only did they lose to Nottingham yesterday, but then the week before that, they lose to Brighton 3-0. You can't beat Newcastle, who's top 4 2-0, and then lose to Brighton 3-0, and then lose to Nottingham Forest 1-0, and still think you're going to become champions. Yeah, you're not going to win anything if those are the way that you win your games. So yeah, I'm with you. It's a really sad to see. To your point, I would have liked to see them get beat to the title. I didn't like it's like they beat themselves to the title, if that makes or from the title, if that makes sense. You know, lose to Man City, fine.
That's fine.
But don't lose to Nottingham. Don't draw 3 in a row to Southampton, to West Ham, and to Liverpool. But to your point, Liverpool is a little bit more excusable, but they were up 2-0, which makes
Well,
it
that's the thing.
inexcusable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's the yeah. When if you watch the game and see the manner by which they drew, it's unacceptable. But if you
Exactly.
just saw a
Yeah.
result, Arsenal Liverpool 2-2, that's fine. But not when you had a 2-goal advantage and you couldn't see it out.
Yeah.
I'm sick. Well, I'm sick for you. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard because I've been thinking back on the season and like, oh, but they, did they win the games they should have won? And I'm like, yeah, they won every London Derby, but I'm like, no, they didn't. They had needed Reece Nelson to come off to beat Nottingham. Then they lost to them the second time they played them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sickening when you think it's every year though. The same thing as last season. It's like they needed one win in like the
Make
last
your
3
up.
or 4 games to get
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, couldn't do it. So, yeah, to your point, they're all young. Arteta's young. I feel like I am upset. I think Arteta's a great coach, but I am upset with how he's treating this Reece Nelson. But you've got Reece Nelson. There you go. Saka's the man. I hope that he stays. But you gotta use Reece Nelson more. You can't keep putting him in the 88th minute and expect him to win you a game every time. He's been with you since youth. He knows the system. He knows these players that he's playing with. Put this guy in. I mean, it's Trossard is good, but give those chances to Reece Nelson every once in a while. I don't know. It's a bit upsetting to me, but whatever. It is what it is.
It is, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, Reece is proven. Well, even is Nketiah injured?
No, he came in last night.
Did he come in yesterday?
I don't know. Yesterday, yeah.
Well, I mean, once they started, I'm not gonna lie to you. After they drew those 3 games, and then City beat them, I was like, it's over.
Done. Yeah.
So I kind of stopped watching. I kind of stopped watching. Like this time of the season is really weird for me because I kind of stopped watching because I'm like I know like at this point City's gonna win. So like now I'm only watching like, is Liverpool gonna make top 4 or is it gonna be Man U? Like like Newcastle, Arsenal, they're top 4. So I'm like, I don't care. I'm not watching Chelsea matches. I'm not watching, after Napoli won, I stopped watching Serie A. I tell you what I am watching though, Brooks. Bundesliga. That's what I'm watching. Let this be our last thing. I mean,
this dude loves the Bundesliga.
I love it. And I don't even drink beer. But I think so. RB Leipzig, my team beat Bayern Munich 3-1. Christopher Nkunku coming to Chelsea got a goal. Wait, is decisive a word? Decisive. Jeez, I'm so tired. I said decisive. Like definitive and decisive in one word. Decisive. Trademark it. Decisive. Anyway, a decisive goal. If Dortmund beat Augsburg today and they win their next game at the end of the season, which is another low-tier team, Jude Bellingham will win a Bundesliga title before he goes off to Real Madrid.
To Madrid.
You gotta love it. Yeah. You gotta love it. Erling Haaland, he won a DFB Pokal. Like I feel like Dortmund, like they're all their players, they win something for the club before they go away.
They're out.
And I love it. I love it.
I hope they win. I hope that Dortmund wins. I want Marco Reus to win another one.
Marco Reus deserves it. Mats Hummel's back in the team.
Yeah.
Emery Chan. We gotta say salute to Sebastian Haller. Defeated cancer. But so all those boys deserve it, and I love it. And also, I just think it's also funny because Bayern Munich fired their coach just for Thomas Tuchel, the former Dortmund manager, to come in and do an inside job. He's like, nah, I'm blowing this whole thing up. I'm blowing the whole thing up. Dortmund needs to win. Like they should have known better. Like this guy, he's a Dortmund guy. He's been on the receiving end of Bayern. You think he's gonna let you guys win? No. He got a side deal with Dortmund. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right, cool. No, I'm excited. I hope that Dortmund wins. But yeah, that was good. Anything else?
That's all I got, man. What about you?
That's it.
All right. Well, in that case, guys, thank you for checking us out this week. It's been real. We'll catch you next time. Bras of Football Podcast. We out of here.